take all the precedence. In Jesus' name I do pray, and everybody shall say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for the prayer. Now, I think allow us sing the national anthem and the East African anthem. Then we officially open this business clinic. Thank you very much. If you may all stand. Thank you very much. You may sit. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you once again to this business clinic at Housing Finance Bank. My name is Joel Masiko. I serve here in the Business and Institutional Banking Department, and I'll be your moderator or MC for the day. Thank you for sparing your precious time this morning to come and be with us as we share some insights in the tourism sector and hospitality sector. We will have keynote speakers here, people who are experienced in this industry, and they will be sharing their thoughts and some of the key insights we need to know as customers in this sector. So you're all most welcome, and thank you very much for honoring our invitation. So if you may allow, I will maybe allow some of our customers here to introduce themselves, your name, the business that you own or the business that you work in, and probably if there is any brief thing you want us to know about your business, it's okay. 1 minute. Thank you very much. So I'll begin with this side. Maybe if you can share. You can help me with another microphone. Thank you. So you just give us your name, your business, and any other thing. Maybe we'll start from here.
Good morning, everybody. I'm called Kakura Godfrey, Director, Ivory Coast Hotel, and I do clearing, avian, clearing and forwarding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kakura, for coming today.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Daniel Odong is my name. I do tours and travel. The company is Malaika Tours and Travel. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Nankunda, Head of Sales and Marketing in Pasha Hotel.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for coming today.
Good morning.
Good
Timothy
morning.
Kizito, a director at 8 Wings Hotel in Tinda.
Thank you very much, Timothy.
Yes, good morning. My name is Subi James, Director, Crystal Valley Hotel, Sibambi Road.
Thank you very much, James.
Good morning. My name is Irene Namtosi, a director, Jim's Home Limited. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irene, for coming.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Odea Timothy Washington, Operations and Director of Wash and Wheels Hotel in Bali.
Good morning. My name is Kazwa Isma, lead business refiner.
Good morning, everyone. Peter Rock is my name, Director, Rock City Hotel, Rubaga Road.
Thank you very much, Peter, for coming.
Emmanuel Nsanze, Director, Nshuti Safaris and Nshuti Logistics Limited.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nawasa Masi, a Director at Chief Global Safaris.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yohan Mugabe. I'm a Director, Clean Plus, Laundry and Cleaners, and we do support Emin Pasha in managing their laundry and dry cleaning department. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Richard Mwanguzi Kim, the Director of Chazon Safaris Limited, based in Mali, Uganda.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Winnie, and I'm representing Dolphin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bruce Kanavaita, Director, Life Beach Hotel and Africa Logistics.
Thank you very much for coming.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Naresh, General Manager, Fontis Hotels.
Morning to you all. My name is David Fuga from Promote Uganda Safaris. We run the city tour buses and any business hotel on Entebbe Road. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you once more to this business clinic. And I would like to thank you for, there is one person who hasn't introduced themselves.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Robert Denya, General Manager, Eureka Place Hotel and Resorts. We deal on accommodation, apartments, and all, a lot of facilities. A very good morning to you.
Thank you very much for coming. Maybe those who are coming in will introduce themselves later. I was thanking you once again for honoring our invitation and sparing time to be with us. Allow me also thank the staff and management of Housing Finance Bank. Maybe staff who are here can stand up for recognition. Yes, thank you very much. You'll get to hear from some of them. Also, allow me thank our guest speakers, whom I'll be introducing later. They'll be talking to us for honoring our invitation. Thank you very much. And also our key partners, our customers, and all the other stakeholders in the tourism and hospitality sector. thank you very much for coming through this morning. We have an audience online that is following this. I think we have over 100 people logged in that will be following up on this business clinic. So you're all welcome, people who are online, and please keep with us. So the theme for this clinic is financing growth in Uganda's tourism sector. And before we begin, I just want to give a few statistics about the Uganda's tourism. These are facts. You will correct me if I'm wrong, but these are facts that we have. One is that Uganda received over 1,370,000 international visitors in 2014, and this figure has grown for 2025. I think that is a fact. I'm giving you these statistics, and 2024 and 2025, they expect to be more. Those are international visitors. Tourism revenue has grown to 4.8 trillion. Those are statistics of 2024. That's around 1.8 billion USD. It's a 16% growth from 2023. And one key thing is that Uganda was voted the most desirable country in the rest of the world. And that was by Wanderers Travel Award 2024. Uganda featured among the top 4 places to visit in 2024. That was by Badit Guides. And another key thing is that Uganda is listed as a top travel destination. That was by CNN, National Geographic. Now, you may use these statistics the way you want, but there are opportunities in there with such information. But also key to note is that Uganda's 10-fold growth strategy has tourism as a key sector. And the expectation is that by 2040, the tourism sector should have grown by around USD 50 billion. That will contribute around 10% of our GDP. So what does this mean? There are a lot of opportunities there for us as Ugandans based in the tourism sector. So these are some of the facts, and maybe we'll have experts here that will enable us digest this and see what opportunities we have as customers to harness some of the opportunities in the sector, but also identify challenges and see how we can work around them, but also position our businesses to ensure that we get the best out of this. Thank you very much. Our program for today, I would like to invite our head of BIB, Madame Angela Ndaula, to also give her opening remarks and officially open this business clinic. Thank you very much.
Good morning to you all. Morning. I want to feel the energy because tourism is an interesting sector, so it's an exciting sector. So when I say good morning, I want to hear that, the tourist vibe. Eh? So good morning once again. Welcome to you all, our special guests. Very, very welcome, dear customers, and thank you very much for honoring our invitation. We appreciate that you took the time off to be here today. And we're looking forward to this time because we'll be sharing ideas and we'll be learning and unlearning and learning again. So personally, I'm excited about this business clinic. and happy to have you all and to host you. I think before I go any further, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Angela Ndaula. I head business and institutional banking. I know Joel said BIB, we cut it short like that. And then also maybe just to let you know, here at Housing Finance Bank, we call ourselves partners. So if you hear me saying partners, you are our partners to each other. So that is how we address ourselves here. And I think before we go further, I just want to bring you greetings from our management and staff. Our MD and ED will be joining us as we go along. There's a meeting going on, but they'll come join soon after. And we'll be interacting. So I think, like Joel mentioned, tourism. When you think about tourism, I think there's a lot that comes. You see waterfalls, you see hotels, you see aeroplanes, you see gorillas, all those things. We think about them. But what we probably don't do is make them, you know, make them an exciting business or make them make money for us as a country. But now we saw in the budget reading, the president and the ministry emphasizing what you call ATMs. To demystify ATMs, it's agriculture, it's a tourism, it's mining and minerals where you even find oil and gas, and then we have services. So count yourselves in the tourism industry very, very lucky that and blessed that it is now a focus for our country. But it's not enough to think that we are blessed and we are lucky and we stop there. We have to make sure that we mine this opportunity and make ourselves better and make our country better. So this is an industry that we should make attractive to the Ugandans and to the international community. So with the focus on tourism, there are many opportunities that are coming up in the tourism sector. So we need to harness those. And for us as a bank, we thought, wow, this is the time to even start these engagements with our partners, our customers, and our well-wishers in the tourism industry. So if you're asking yourself why tourism, we also want to play. We are a government bank, and we want to support the government strategy to grow tenfold, but then also to play into those sectors where government wants us to grow. So I'll just give you a brief of who we have already mentioned. We are a government bank. We are 50% owned in terms of shareholding, NSSF, 49.8%, I think 0.18 is Government of Uganda through Ministry of Finance. And then because of our history, we used to be a mortgage bank. We used to build houses, sell houses, enable people own homes. So we have a shareholder, National Housing and Construction. I think you all know they are the biggest builders of houses, and so we partner with them in terms of off-taking. So we are among the 10 largest banks in Uganda, fully fledged commercial. So when I say fully fledged commercial, what do I mean? I mean that it's not only about mortgage. It's about you, Jean, our guest. It's about something tours and travel, Amos. It's about, you know, we include everybody. And so we are fully fledged. And in terms of business, we run our business through three key segments. We start with the micro, then we have individuals, and then we have businesses, entities that are registered. So why? Because we don't want to leave anyone out. So we are driving an inclusion agenda as well. So the micro is everybody. We enable a boda owner to own a home through Zimba and Pola Mpola. Then we enable a salary earner to also own a home. We also enable a business to Tambuza business, I think I saw this one, through our different business products and services. So there we are fully fledged, we cater to everybody. So this is our head office, and we are glad to have you here in our training center. I mentioned we were incorporated in 1967 as a housing finance company, but we got a tier 1 license as a commercial bank in 2007 to do everything that any commercial bank does. So for those who thought that we only build houses, just to make it clear, we are located in all over the country. Right now we have 23 branches, but we are represented in every geography. We have Arua, a branch, we have Gulu, we have Lira. We recently opened a branch in Soroti. We have a branch in Mbale. We have a branch in Tororo, Jinja. Then we come into Mukono. On the western side, we have Fort Poto, Hoima, Mbarara, and Masaka. Then the rest of the branches are around Kampala. We have Namuongo, Ndeva, Nakasero, Chikubo, Ntinda. We are all over the country. So Nansana is one of our newly opened branches. Why? Because, yes, I said we are driving inclusion. We want to be accessible to all of you. And it's not just through the branches that we are accessible, we are also accessible digitally. Where you don't find brick and mortar, you will find a bank agent, housing finance agent, you know, because these days, business is about partnerships and collaborations. So also you find ATMs. We are connected to over 450 ATMs through InterSwitch. So any ATM that is InterSwitch or Visa MasterCard enabled, you're able to transact. We have online banking, internet banking, which is 24/7. All those channels available, our retail internet banking, our corporate internet banking, and then I think I've already mentioned about the agents. So you won't feel stranded because we are a local indigenous bank. We cater to each and every of your needs. And even with our internet banking, we also do overseas transactions through our different channels. So I just wanted to make you feel at home, because when you visit and you get to know who are these people that I'm wining or dining with, you get more comfortable. So I hope that it gives you a clear view of who we are. And if there are any questions, I can take them, but I just wanted to say you're welcome. And before we delve into the next agenda, I can take any reactions, any comments, anything that needs clarity? Later? Okay. So thank you very much. I'd like to welcome you once again. Please feel free. Let's enjoy the interaction and enjoy the clinic. Remember, we are unlearning, learning, and relearning, whatever you want to call it. But let's make best use of this forum to pick up the best that we can do for ourselves and our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Angela, for those remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Housing Finance, a fully Ugandan bank. So you're the rightful owners of this bank. And the key thing of being a local bank is that all decisions are made here locally. So it's easier for our customers and all our stakeholders. Now, maybe a few disclaimers. This is a very interactive breakfast meeting. Please feel free to come in and share your contributions. There is no one here who knows it all. You're all experts in the businesses that you deal in. So feel free to come in and share your thoughts. Maybe another disclaimer, this 5-fold I'm holding has nothing to do with politics. I know we are in a political season. It's just because these are the bank's colors and I happen to hold one of them. So please don't make any assumptions. Yes. So, but with this political season, someone may think otherwise, but they are just the bank colors for now. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me introduce our speakers for today. Mr. Barry Clements from Hospitality EQ. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We have Madame Jean Byamujisha, the ED of UHOA, Uganda Hotel Owners Association. Madame Jean, thanks for coming. And we have Mr. Amos Wekesa, the founder of Great Lakes Safaris Limited. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So maybe with that, allow me invite Mr. Wekesa. I know he has another engagement to just give us a brief insight on this tourism sector. I know he's very passionate about this tourism and hospitality industry. So allow me welcome him to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bwana MC Masiko Joel, for the good job you've done. There are many times in my life where I asked, why should anybody invite me to speak to anyone? But since you invited me, since I was invited, I'm going to speak to you anyway. But I must first start by thanking Uganda's Housing Finance Bank. I'm saying this is because, to be honest, they're fund between Ugandan-owned banks. And we must wake up as Ugandans and start dreaming about owning banks. If we don't own banks, we don't own telecoms, we don't own five-star hotels, then you don't own the economy. Are we together? And so when we see a locally owned bank, whatever opportunity there is, you must be able to support it. And I'm not saying that international banks are a bad idea. No. Actually, a very, very successful countries, even within the region, people follow countries where locals have serious stake because it means that that country is sustainable. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. If you go to Kenya, the #1 bank in Kenya is KCB. It's Kenyan owned. #2 biggest bank is Equity. It's Kenyan owned. #3 bank is NCBA. It's Kenyan owned. #4 bank is Cooperative. It's Kenyan owned. The first foreign bank in Kenya is ABSA. That's #5. Are we together? So our dream is that Uganda Housing Finance should be the bank that we all rally behind. Of course, housing finance, you must make the conditions much better that we all rally behind you. So you become the biggest bank. Biggest banks don't become biggest banks because of osmosis or by osmosis. No, they become biggest bank because you and I decide to go and support them. Are we together? And then for tourism, tourism has been a very bizarre topic in this country. I've been in the middle of pushing, for those of you who are older must have seen. I've been pushing just for people to understand the topic tourism for years. In fact, tourism was never appreciated in many ways. And people, in many ways, separated tourism from so many other things, including hotels. Actually, many hotel owners don't believe they're in part of tourism. No, it's true. No, it's true. You will go to a hotel and you'll find no leaflet talking about the attractions in the country. Are we together? Yeah, because inherently, we think we're different from the subject tourism. And yet, we are the main component of tourism, really. When you think about a destination, what comes to your mind, number one? Where are you going to sleep? And I tell Ugandans that there is time is important for us. I'm just happy that I'm speaking to hotel owners here today. And you should invite me to speak further so that I can enlighten us on actually what we need to be doing as a country. Now, generally, tourism comes from the word tourist. A tourist lives place A. It's any human being, irrespective of your color. For as long as you live place A, you go to place B, spend over 24 hours and less than a year, and you don't have a permanent job in place B, you're a tourist, and you form tourism. Are we together? Yeah. So when I leave Kampala and I go to Gulu, and spend over 24 hours, and I have no job in Gulu, I am called a domestic tourist. When Barry leaves Kenya, because it's majorly based in Kenya, and comes here and spends over 24 hours, he's an international tourist. Now, there is a difference between an international tourist and a domestic tourist. A domestic tourist's value does not necessarily increase what they call GDP. GDP is the value of services and products produced by a country over a period of a year. There's a value, monetary value. The local guy moving from Kampala to Gulu does not necessarily add on our GDP. But what do? They redistribute already available resources. So the money you had in Kampala that you have spent in Kampala, you're now going to spend it in Gulu. So from the time you say, I am going to Gulu, and you make that phone call using any telephone company, that money is part of the tourism money. You tell, oh, John, I'm going to Gulu tomorrow. That actually becomes part of tourism money. When you enter your car and go to a petrol station because you're driving to Gulu, that is domestic earned income from tourism. When you get a driver alongside you and give them money to live with the family, that is tourism earning. When you drive and stop at Kafu and eat the world's sweetest cassava, that is tourism earning. Domestic tourism earning. When you go to Gulu and go to a restaurant, and you see how tourism has the highest trickle-down effect of any subject in the world, any sector in the world. When you just see the impact of a person who has traveled from Kampala to Gulu, on a plate, there is an onion supplier, tomato supplier, I don't know what. You've just seen what has happened here. The amount of people you are supporting in the agriculture sector are so many by just simply having breakfast. That is the trickle-down effect of domestic tourism. But domestic tourism has its value as well. The other value is it creates awareness. A lot of us, if I mentioned Uganda, many of you have never been to Oraba, you have never been to Mirama Boda, you don't know Uganda. And your children may never know because you don't know. But I'm trying to tell you today, make sure, I'm telling you from many of you who follow me, before I took my children out of this country, they have been to every border of this country, every town in this country. We have even ridden a bike during COVID. My 14-year-old son and I rode a bicycle from Kampala to Moroto. 7 days, 700 kilometers. We were riding from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. And we reached one time between, we were between Pianopi, and we're going up. And my son stops and says, I am the most blessed child in my class. I said, what? He said, Dad, you have shown me one of the most beautiful areas of the world. Are you seeing what I'm talking about? He's traveled the world. He's 20 years old, working with me right now. He's been doing business with me since he was 4. But what am I trying to say? Is that when you expose your children to the country, they love it. So when you travel, you see opportunities. You invest, many of you are invested where you are invested in hotels or wherever you've done because you once traveled there. You saw the opportunities in that place. The other one is that it actually reduces tension. I know many Ugandans who have never crossed to Gulu. They used to think Gulu is up. Now, many people don't understand that the Nile goes down. You know? Like, yeah, it's true. Those who don't understand, they're just people like us. People don't. Guys in Arua, it's too far. Why? It's ignorance. You've never been. So traveling opens your minds as a people. International tourism is what brings in instant growth to a country. The moment, Barry, when did you come in? Yesterday, right? The moment he entered this country, I am 100%, $150 just entered that night. He paid his accommodation, his transport from the airport. It's instant. Instant income. And whatever he's going to be doing here, we will be earning new money in the economy. That's what actually improves GDP. Tourism, 2024, 2025, I think earned the world about $10 trillion. Africa was responsible for about 7% of the international arrivals. When we say international arrivals, we're talking about people coming from outside Africa into Africa was 7% of the total international arrivals. So our earnings has increased in the last 2 years by 2 points, from 5% to about 7%. Uganda as a country, domestic tourism has generally always happened. If you go to Mbale to Bari for a wedding anywhere, you spend a time there, that's all tourism. It has always happened. And tourism is not just going to a national park. No, tourism is going anywhere outside your usual place. Now that said, international tourism for Uganda has actually not started. I'm a team lead for Great Lakes Safaris, which has an office in Uganda and Rwanda. I'm a team lead for Great Lakes Collection, which is building accommodations in Uganda and Tanzania now. And when I say we have not started, in comparison to our neighbors, we are so far. And it's because, generally speaking, even hotels, as us, as hotel owners, I'm telling you that you must back leadership at hotel owners such that we make noise that actual investment is actually done in tourism. I can tell you Masai Mara now is coming to about 5,000 rooms now, supplying Masai Mara alone, which is 10% of Serengeti. It's about 1,500 square kilometers. That's what Masai Mara is. If you look at the 22 national parks combined, all of them combined, inside them have less than 1,500 rooms. Inside, forget about the accommodations outside. That's how small. We cannot do 30% of what Masai Mara alone has. Nairobi now is on 8 international chains of hotels now. Yeah, it's on 8 international chains of hotels. Uganda is on maybe 5, 6. That's where we are as a country. Today, as I speak here, Ngorongoro Crater has collected $700,000 at the gate. 3 billion shillings. The best Ugandan 22 national parks have ever done is 300 million shillings in a day. That's $80,000. Are we together? Serengeti today is collecting between 2.5 to about, okay, because of the challenges they have had now, maybe less. But generally speaking, they collect between $2.5 million a day to 3 if you add the amount of money you spend overnight plus the gates, entrances. What am I trying to say? The value of Serengeti alone is $1.6 billion that it brings to an economy of Tanzania. Our total earnings as Uganda from the 22 national parks and game reserves combined, the highest we've ever had is $170 billion, which is less than $50 million. Are we together? We're still, what I'm trying to say is that we're nowhere. As I speak right now, Uganda did not even have, until Uganda Airlines started flying to London, we did not have a single flight, direct flight out of Europe. Brussels used to go through either Burundi or Rwanda. Turkish used to go through Rwanda. KLM through Rwanda. And drop the tourists there and come, taking Ugandans to spend. Are we together? So we didn't, out of the 50 countries that form what they call the General Europe, not the European Union. European Union is formed of 27 countries. But what I'm trying to say is that you can also see the numbers as we speak right now. In 2024, 2025, the total numbers, the highest number we got from out of Europe was the English people. There were only 10,000 tourists. 10,000. Compared to Kenya, which had 180,000 tourists. We did not even make 10% of what Kenya got. Our second was Germany with 4,200 tourists. If you compare with Tanzania, Tanzania is going towards 120,000 of the Germans, for example. So I am not trying to tell you this to discourage us. I'm trying to say that now that the government of Uganda has created what they call the ATMs, there is general understanding of where we should go. But government is not going to do things until we wake up and actually push them. The other thing that actually countries are pushing is MICE, meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. And why now the region has now woken it to up. I mean, I sit on the board of Insights of Africa. Insights of Africa is probably the fastest growing travel expo on the African continent. We just had the last meeting in Malindi about 3-4 weeks ago. And when I spoke to Kenya Tourism Board, they're all looking forward to discussing how events are changing places. If you have a hotel in Mbale, how do you support the district or the town to chase the dream for big events? I can give you an example. I'm a team leader for Rwenzori Marathon. How many of you know Kasese properly? Any of you who had been to Kasese in 2022, Kasese was known for a number of things. Number 1, floods. Number 2, disease attacks. Number 3, rebels. That's what Kasese was known for. And there were only 500 rooms. 500 rooms, really terrible in a way. Kasese was known for everything negative. But the moment we started Rwenzori Marathon, we started with 800 runners from 4 countries, 2022. When 800 runners arrived at Kasese, everything ran out. Supermarkets ran out. Border borders could not handle the pressure. The petrol stations ran out of fuel. Everybody was scattered. The next year, they prepared for 1,000 runners. We brought 2,200 runners from 17 countries. It was horrible. They could not even handle the traffic. Last year, we did 6,000 runners from 36 countries, plus 10,000 people that came to watch. So we filled Kasese, we filled Fort Portal, we filled Ishaka, we filled Bushenyi, we filled the whole national parks. And the quality of clientele this time, 21% were foreigners. Kenyans alone that came to run Rwenzori Marathon that came to Kasese at that time were close to 1,000. Now the biggest problem in Kasese was, they don't have enough. Tourists people were saying we came to spend $2,000. But we were struggling to spend $800 because there's nothing to spend money on. So even when you run and you're in places like that, today as I speak, Kasese has gone to over 2,000 rooms in 4 years. The first year we did a marathon because we brought Makerere University to do research. In 2022, 9 billion shillings was left in the economy. This year Makerere University is finishing the research for this year. But we think that in Fort Portal, Kasese, Ishaka, Bushenyi, we must have left about 35 billion shillings. Now we're trying to make this, it was the first Ugandan marathon to be internationally certified by World Athletics Federation. Now we're chasing for what they call the world level, first level stage. From world level, you go to elite level. That's what we're chasing Rwenzori Marathon to be in the next 12 months. That's what we want it to be the first in East Africa at this level. Now, the idea about what I'm trying to say is that the moment people arrive at a place, everybody benefits, whether it's hotel or the borders or petrol stations. And therefore, when you own a hotel, don't just think about yourself alone. Rarely do people just go to hotels. People go for activities. So when I own a hotel in Mbale, I need to make sure that Mount Elgon is marketed. I need to make sure that Wanale is known. The eating places in town are also known. The place where they can have, running routes, they should be known. Such that the client has more activities. So he goes to Wanale, comes back and stays in your place. Times Elgon comes back and stays in your place. The longer he stays doing activities in your place, the better for you. The better for banking. I can tell you that it is common sense even in Uganda Revenue Authority. The head of Western Region came and ran Rwenzori Marathon last year. After the marathon, he says, Amos, each of these shops is supposed to pay 80,000 shillings as taxes in a year. But they were struggling before Rwenzori Marathon came. And he said the moment Rwenzori Marathon started, every August, everyone pays their 80,000 shillings. Why? They make money. Are we together? They do what? They make money. Everybody benefits from tourism. So anyway, for me, my conclusion here this morning is that we have an opportunity with a local bank. And Ivy and I would like to have a discussion with the local bank and see where the opportunities are. And I can tell you that this is probably the first I've ever encountered in as far as banking is concerned. When I was building my first lodge, Angela, listen to this. I was banking with one of the banks in town. I had my first lodge was very crappy. It was called a Primate Lodge. In fact, recently I posted the Primate Lodge pictures on Facebook, and someone said, this looked like extremely very bad pork joint in Mukono. I mean, I don't know, it was a very, if you see the first lodge I built, it was crazy. But what the story is that I had $150,000, I'm not going to mention the bank, I had $150,000 as bank balance many years ago, 2006, on their account. So I walk to the manager and say, I am building a lodge in Chivale National Park. First of all, he's like, what? Chivale? Where is that? Talking about the manager of the bank. How can we even talk about any investment outside the city? And worst still, in a forest. You want us as the bank to invest in the forest? In accommodation? Who is even going to stay there? That was the mindset. So I go to the man and I say, but I'm fairly small. So 2006, I have a balance in your bank of $150,000. All I want to borrow is $35,000. At that time, they had specific loan in Bank of Uganda. What was it called? But you have to do through banks that was supporting businesses. There was a smaller stuff there. But I wanted to fix my own money and borrow against my own money to build a lodge in the national parks. I failed because the manager himself could not understand the theory of tourism. So when we see a bank doing this, in many ways, it's different. Of course, it's now different. The banks cannot now come to me because there's evidence of what I was trying to do at that time. There's clear evidence. But also the other thing is, the opportunities in banking are in hotel space. The biggest, of course, the biggest investors in tourism is actually in the hotel space. But there are many other areas, like safari cars. I think the bank should be able to go out and look at the people who build cars and make up relationships. There are stopovers that we all need. There are craft areas that we all need to be built around using tourism money, if there is tourism money within the bank. And the other one is that a bank should also do research on available opportunities based on what is going to happen in the future. And I can tell you this, the government of Uganda has been very difficult in convincing to actually market the country. All of you must wake up every day and push government to market the country. Let me tell you, the only thing that is keeping us behind as hotel owners is because there's no business. You're operating with 25%, and we have very few hotels. Kampala here does not have even 10% of the hotels Nairobi alone has. We should be full every time. The other thing is that we should also engage the leadership of Kampala City Council to make sure activities are in this city, if you own accommodation in Kampala. When activities are in the city grows. How many of you have been to New York? New York makes $80 billion from tourism annually. $80 billion. I used to have an office there before COVID. New York, very small office, I pay $5,000 a month. When I would go in February, I would sleep in a Hilton at $250. But if I went to New York the first week of July, of September, it would be $1,500 a room. Why? The first week, there's New York Fashion Week. The second week, there's New York Open Tennis. 1 million people are sent to New York. You go 3rd of November, New York Marathon. New York Marathon alone, you have seen the statistics if you follow me on Twitter. I posted about it yesterday. $1 billion value enters New York because of just one marathon like this. So for us as hotel owners, for the banks to grow, business must grow. For us to grow as individuals, the city must grow. That's why the Bible says, pray for the city in which you live, that when it prospers, you also prosper. When the city does not prosper where you have invested, you also don't prosper. Are we together? So when there's Namgongo Shrine, we should tell government of Uganda, why is it that these are not African matters, they're the world matters? Why can't we have millions of people coming every year from all over the world? There are over 2,000 people who claim to be Christians around the world, 2 billion. Why can't they be coming every month so that Namgongo is busy and our hotels are busy? Hotels, restaurants are busy, petrol stations are busy. I could talk about this until cows come home, but thank you so much for this morning.
Thank you very much, Amos. I think you change our perception of the tourism industry. Who has a different perception of the tourism industry after listening to Mr. Amos Wekesa? I think the key thing, the key takeaway is that there are very many opportunities. What we need to do is to strategize and see us as business owners or us as banks, how can we support to ensure that we get the most out of these opportunities. Thank you very much, Mr. Amos Wekesa, for those wonderful insights, and you continue to inspire us. I think you're the biggest fan of tourism. Me, I follow you, I follow your comments, And thank you for the work that you continue to do with. If everyone can put in that effort, I think our $50 million target in the tourism sector will be met by 2030, not 2040. Our dear customers, if you have any questions, I don't know whether we can ask them now, specifically for Mr. Amos Wekesa, because I know he's leaving. If anyone has anything, any addition, yes, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sam Sendiwala. I come from Promote Uganda Safaris. We are the operators of the sightseeing buses in East Africa, the double-decker buses. Mr. Wekesa, we want to thank you for the opportunities you've given us to work with you. But our biggest challenge is other tour operators seeing us as threats. So they say we've brought in our guests from wherever they have come from. We are also a tour company, but they think that when the guests come on the city tour bus, they'll get our contacts and do whatever. So these operators are feeling so insecure. What can we do about that? And we think that they are the biggest partners. We are the only people with this product in East Africa. Tour operators have traveled the world. They have seen these tour buses operating in big cities. What is the problem? Mindset change, I think, is needed here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, in the interest of time, you will allow me invite our next speaker. Hey.
Just a second. I think, first of all, what you're doing is a very unique product that we all must buy into. But also, the 50 years have taught me one thing, that if you want to make people happy, maybe you sell ice cream. But the truth is that you're doing a good thing. I think just focus on what your product is, promote it, and I think for me, it makes my work easier as a tour operator because I don't then need to be moving around with one tourist showing him Kampala when you can do it on my behalf. And it helps us, all of us, to survive. But I think it's also because we have very small business. Let's all push for a bigger picture. When there's little business, people fight each other instead of fighting for business. So it's a normal phenomenon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you can note down any other comments or questions that you have. We shall get time towards the end and respond to most of them. Allow me invite the Executive Director, Uganda Hotel Owners Association, Madam Jean Byamujisha. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Joel. Before I start, I think it's very cruel to ask anybody in tourism to speak after Amos because we stand no chance. Nobody can match his passion and knowledge. So please feel and be kinder to me because I'm really speaking after a juggernaut in tourism, and so I doubt that I can be able to fill the space. My name is Jean Byamujisha. I'm the CEO of Uganda Hotel Owners Association. I would like to thank Joel and the management of HFB for inviting me to speak a little bit about tourism. The majority of the work has already been done by Amos, but there are just a few key points that I wanted to touch. And this relates with banking and the tourism industry as well. Like Amos already said, tourism is truly, truly one of the best industries that you can work in. People always come to my office and they ask me what I love most about my job. And I tell them, for me, no 2 days are the same. You know, one day I'm here with you, tomorrow I'll be in the national park, the next day I'll be in South Africa with Barry marketing Uganda, the other day. So no 2 days are the same, meaning that we never get bored. That's why you find people who work in the industry for 50, 70 years, and they still look young. So I really would like to encourage all of you, as you work in your boring HFB, plan your retirement in the tourism industry, because this is where you will come to relax from the day-to-day 8 to 5. For us, we don't have 8 to 5. We are really always just enjoying our time in tourism. Tourism is the biggest, one of the fastest growing industries. And this is particularly exciting for us right now, because everybody in this room can attest to the fact that when we were growing up, for us who are in the millennial section now, tourism was one of the most underlooked sectors. I personally, tourism was not my first choice. I wanted to do law. My father is a lawyer. I love arguing. I love politics. I love current affairs. I can argue anybody to death. I wanted to do law. I grew up knowing I was going to be a lawyer. I was admitted to the University of Kent at Canterbury to do law. But then I got tourism as my career, as my second choice. And I always loved to travel. There was a program on CNN called CNN Hotspots at that time, and it was hosted by a young woman whose duty it was to travel around the world, stay in hotels, visit all these beautiful places. And I always watched it. I always figured that's my dream job. So when I got tourism, I figured, I'll just give it a try. And that was honestly the best decision that I ever made. And it was coming off of a struggle, I think, when we even started working with, parents not wanting their kids to do tourism, or somebody who is doing tourism, something that we are still struggling with to date, whereby people thought, working in a hotel is for cleaning toilets, therefore that is a lesser than job, and people didn't really look at the industry as... So coming from that background, from that attitude, from that, to work against that, to be one of the backbones of our economy has not been an easy feat, but it is truly one that is rewarding. Tourism is an industry that you work in and you get your reward in your lifetime. You can clearly see change in your lifetime. And so that is one of the reasons that I have really enjoyed working in the tourism industry the most. Amos touched about domestic tourism. According to the data we have from the Ministry of Tourism, 2.8 million Ugandans traveled in 2024 alone. This is a huge leap because, pre-COVID, all our marketing strategies, ideas, plans, investment was for the outbound market. It was for the, the European and American market. Then COVID came, and then it flattened the curve. And we had nowhere else to run but to you and me, to Ugandans. And we had to have domestic campaigns. We had to look at the domestic market. We had to price in shillings and not in dollars. And it is the domestic market that carried us during the COVID period and still carries us today. And I'm sure even the hoteliers who are here today, they will attest that from that time, we realized that we need to give more attention to the domestic market. We price in Uganda shillings. We have some hotels, some lodges have actually domestic and East African rates as opposed to international rates, because we realize just how much the domestic market could be able to carry this. Since then, since COVID, what have we been able to see? Where is the tourism, where is the industry growing now? Like Amos has said, now there is a concerted effort both from government and from the private sector to invest in the tourism industry. Before, Uganda was a free-for-all. There was no regulation. Anybody could come in and leave. A tour operator could open up a briefcase company. The moment they earn $10,000, they think they've made it, etc., etc. Now it is becoming more formalized. Now everybody must register. And we are actually seeing a more regularized tourism industry, which is making it, first of all, conducive for investment. That is why you see the big brands, Hilton, Marriott, are opening up next year. That's why you're seeing many more hotels opening up, especially domestic hotels. 87% of all our hotels are owned by local Ugandans. That is something that we are all very excited about. But we are seeing more formality. We are seeing a move away from the hoteliers to hotels, people who are actually building with a hotel idea and a vision in mind as they build. So the industry is shifting towards more formality. We are also moving away from being a budget industry. We are looking now more at high end. Again, this is evidenced by the fact that we have these big hotels which are coming up. This is evidenced by the fact that now you have international airports which are coming up in Western Uganda. Hoima, you've heard about it. The other day I heard that there's going to be an airport coming up in Mbarara, etc. So all that is because we are now looking at how we can make top dollar in the tourism industry. We have got a lot of interest from high net worth individuals, high net worth companies who want to come and invest in the industry. But the one thing they've always said is infrastructure. If I come in on Emirates first class, I have paid $12,000 to come to Uganda for a holiday. I do not want to spend 8 hours on potholes and those Rambo strip roads to go and trek gorillas for 6 hours. It's just not worth it. Yet I can actually afford, even if the flight was $1,000, to fly somewhere close to Bwindi. So we are actually seeing a lot more investment in infrastructure that is all targeted to move our tourism industry to a more luxury destination. And most importantly, we are looking at a diversification of the tourism product. Everybody, once you talk about tourism in Uganda, what is Uganda known for? Gorillas. But Uganda is more than just gorillas. There is so much. There's culinary tourism, there is culture tourism, there is everything tourism in Uganda. Uganda is the one country that you can go and you will have a market for each and everything. But our marketing agencies, our tour operators, we the hoteliers, we've only been marketing Uganda as a gorilla destination. We are trying to see how we can be able to move away from that. We are trying to see how we can get into more niche products. There are people who will pay $21,000 for 8 days just to come and see butterflies. There are people who will pay even up to close to $30,000 to come for 21 days and see birds. So those are the niche products that we are really trying to see how we can get into, and we can see how we can be able to move our tourism. What is one of our biggest challenge, and this is where HFB comes in, this is access to finance. Commercial banks have not yet learned that the product you have is different for tourism. It's not a one-size-fits-all. I'll give an example. When we went into COVID, many of the hotels came to the commercial banks to try and see how they could be able to realign their loan obligations. And many of them did not succeed. Why? Because the banks say for us every month, this is the premium or the interest or whatever it is that you call it that you must pay. This is the obligation that you must pay. But they forget that the tourism industry is not like any other industry. We have got peak seasons where we can pay double what we are supposed to pay. And then we have off-peak seasons where we literally cannot even pay anything. And this is where we need partnerships with Housing Finance Bank, especially being a local bank. We are talking about domestic tourism. You understand our language. You know, somebody can come and negotiate with you in Luganda other than going to the other banks where you need to speak impeccable English. But you need to be able to understand the market in which we are operating. And the tourism industry is not a one-size-fits-all product. We need to structure these loan obligations, loan repayment obligations, according to the business of the industry. If somebody comes and tells you that during the Christmas season, this is peak season, I am ready and willing to pay triple, double my obligation, but after January, February is going to be quite quiet, can I pay maybe half? There should be a structure in place. So we need to have these conversations. We need to go back to the drawing board so that we can see how the banking sector can be able to speak to the tourism sector and give us products that actually speak to us. We had an incident where the Uganda Development Bank had a product for us, but the uptake was so low because they did not truly understand the market, and the criteria for access to these funds was also extremely stringent, that the influx of people who ran there thinking, yes, this is a godsend, they all came back to their commercial banks because they said, better the devil we know. But don't clap for that, because the commercial banks are still the devil. It's just that we know this devil and not the other devil that we are running to. So there is need for us to be able to have that conversation. Access to sustainability. We are now talking about sustainability in the tourism and hospitality industry. One of the things we are realizing is that sustainability is very expensive. We get people who come in to do, I'll give an example of a hotel, to carry out an energy audit. My hotel is perfectly working. I have lights and bulbs. I bring in a consultant from Europe, pay him 40,000 euros, and he'll come and say, you need to remove all these bulbs, etc. That is very expensive. But the banks don't, or I haven't yet heard about a sustainability fund where somebody can be able to access this money so that they can come and change out their TVs, change out their bulbs, etc., so that we can be able to meet the sustainability standards that are required of us for the tourist markets where we are always going to market our country. So we also need to be able to have a conversation about sustainability, what it means for us in tourism, what are the cost implications in tourism, and what are the packages that the banks can be able to draft for us to be able to help us, because this is not something that we can run away from. This is something we must do. This is something that is demanded by our source markets, and therefore this is something we must do, but we need to be able to have access to financing. There's another new word that I always hear going around, and that is green financing. And that is also something that is becoming very popular. Again, we can only get financing from the banks like HFB, and you being one of our own, we hope that you will be able to understand our language, and you should be able to give us some green financing, especially for the ecologies in the national parks. Like Amos said, these are very, very fragile properties, very expensive to build. They might not look like it, but it's much more expensive to build in the national park. I mean, the fees alone can price you out of the market. So there needs to be some concerted effort in getting financing to the investors who are looking at green financing for their projects in the national parks. One of the biggest challenges, finally, that we have in the industry that we also would require a partnership with is capacity building and access to capacity building. There are very many programs, and again, tourism is growing, and I'll give a very good example. We had to recruit for one of the new big 5-star hotels, but all the top management is expatriate manpower, mainly because we have a very big gap in top management, in general managers, etc., in Uganda. So somebody cannot put up a $50 million project, and they have to recruit the top talent to be able to make a return on their investment. The biggest challenge is there is no fund where even myself as a general manager, I can go and borrow money to go and improve on my studies so that I can be able to compete for some of these positions. And that is where, again, HFB being one of our own, speaking the same language as us, you need to be able to come and have a capacity building credit fund, where again, we are not asking for a grant, we are asking for a line of credit, where we as hotel owners, we can also encourage our staff. These are salaried employees, anybody who wants to go and study, anybody who has an opportunity. There are scholarships there which are usually 50-50, amazing, great scholarships. But 50-50 on somebody who maybe is not earning much, even if you tell them $10,000, they always miss out on these opportunities. But if there was that line of credit, I know that we are trying to do something through the TVET Council. There's supposed to be a skills development fund that will be operationalized where people can be able to go and get some sort of funding. But why shouldn't that skills development fund be housed here at HFB so that it can be freely and fairly and transparently used by members in the tourism industry? So that's all that I had to quickly say, because unfortunately I have to run for another meeting. But I kindly thank you so much, HFB, for inviting us. I know that we are already partners with the Uganda Hotel Owners Association and HFB, so at least we are already walking the journey. But in conclusion, what I would like to say is that let us now start walking the talk. We have talked, we have gone back and forth. Let us start walking the talk and start getting some of these products out there, because I can assure you that the market for these products is there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Jean. Thank you for the wonderful insights. And we've taken note, I think, as a bank, we've taken note of the tailored solutions, especially for the people in the tourism sector. We have a presentation on sustainability and green financing, and hope our customers will learn and see how to strategically position their businesses for such funding. And we've also taken note for the capacity building, especially for the people in the tourism sector. Thank you very much. And on that note, allow me maybe recognize the presence of our senior management team. If you're here, Madam, Mr. JB, Angela, you can stand again. I think they have also taken note of your comments, and we look forward to tailoring solutions that really speak to the Ugandans, especially those in the tourism sector. I don't know if anyone has a burning question for Madame Jean before I invite the next speaker. But I said, please note all those questions. We'll get time and respond to them. Thank you very much, Madame Jean. Now, allow me invite Mr. Barry Clemens from Hospitality EQ. He's a consultant on hospitality. He's helped set up very many hotels. Please allow him to speak to you. Thank you very much, Mr. Barry.
Thank you, Joe. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And Jean said that, you know, it's going to be hard for her to speak. Thanks, Jean. You put me on the spot here. Very hard to speak after Amos, but she did just as good a job, I think, as he did. Both of them, Jean and Amos, have been friends of mine for a very long time, even from before my first trip to Uganda, and they're true ambassadors for Uganda tourism, and I think we need to give them, even though they're both gone, a good round of applause for promoting Uganda. So I did prepare a bit of a presentation. I don't know if we can get it up on the screen. There we go. So let me first introduce myself a little bit more. People always ask me where you're from. They look at me and they listen to me and then, who's this dude? Where's he coming from? And I always say I'm a pavement special, right? Because my first name, Barry, has got English origin. My surname, Clemens, has got French origin. My parents are Dutch and Italian, but I've lived in Africa for 30 years, so say I'm African. But then apparently there's more confusion because apparently I don't look African. I don't know why that is. Don't know how that works. I've been working in this hospitality industry for a good 30 years now across the world. And as I mentioned, Africa has become home. And I made my first trip to Uganda only in 2021. But as you can see, I'm standing here. As Joel said, one of my main companies called Hospitality EQ, we do consulting and management across the continent. But we've also decided that there's so much opportunity and there's such a need within Uganda to really grow this industry. As my colleagues have said, the growth opportunity is there. The contributions that tourism makes to the GDP is way bigger than most people imagine. But we've spoken about that. But I think it's very important we move forward. And such, we've actually decided, I don't know, we've had our GM here earlier. I know most of you probably know Fontes Residences. And we decided to partner with them because of the quality of the brand to actually set up a consulting business in Uganda called Fontes Hospitality Group, so we can better support the local industry to grow. So let's talk about things a little bit. Let me just forget that one. We just use this. Setting the stage for growth. I've already spoken about the opportunities. I think Amos and Jean have both shown you that this country is still a baby when it comes to hospitality. And tourism as well. There's so many opportunities in so many different ways where growth can happen. So let's go to the next slide. You know, we know that COVID crippled so many of us, and again, Jean has spoken about it. But we're resilient. Africa has had one of the best recovery numbers after COVID. In general, about 10 to 12% is what we've grown from pre-COVID numbers, which is well above most of the world. The only country that's beaten us, which has grown and taken better advantage maybe, is the UAE, where they've grown about 30% in terms of that. So we're doing well, but we can be doing so much better. So let's move on from that, because we spoke about the numbers. Here again, as Joel mentioned already, we are there, we are moving, we're improving, and there's so much more space. So let's move to the next. Who are our customers? Amos spoke quite a bit about domestic tourism, which is important, but our international people, where they're from? The majority come here for leisure, almost half. So we need to make sure that we cater for that, right? We've got business travelers and then diaspora visits. And then MICE events. Again, it's something that Amos referred to, and MICE industry is growing. But there quite often is a mismatch. Now you get people who want to build a big convention center somewhere, but then there's not enough accommodation. You can't build a 2,000-seater convention center and have 100 hotel rooms in the area. Doesn't make sense. So when we do these developments, we just make sure that things make sense. So let's go to the next slide. So how, after COVID, are things reshaping? What is popular? What do people look for? Experiential travel. In the past, people used to travel for the sake of travel, and it was a luxury, and it still is, but it's more appreciated. People want to truly experience genuine, authentic experiences from the country. Jean referred to, and everything I'm going to say, Jean said, Amos said, because they already covered so much of it, is that culinary, local food. We spoke about pork joints in a funny way, but still, that's something that Uganda can really promote a bit better. There is so much more than the gorillas and the chimpanzees. Wellness tourism is something we can really leverage on, and there's not that much in this country related to that currently. There's a very big opportunity to do something there. And the last one, digital integration. There is so many of you in Uganda that do not even have a proper website. People want convenience. If they're not able to confirm and book their stay at your hotel with 2 or 3 clicks from your website, they're going to go somewhere else. We complain about the OTAs, they're not ideal. They cost a lot of money, we think. But if you think about the 15 or 18% of commission you pay to Booking.com, and a lot of you are not there, or don't pay proper attention to the channel, how much money would you need to spend on sales and marketing to get that client to come? Probably a lot more. So I think those channels are something you shouldn't be ignoring, should be looking at properly. It's a love-hate relationship, but it's something where we can do a lot more on still. But digital integration, being present, being online, being seen globally is something where Uganda, or East Africa specifically, has got a lot of work to do still. So let's move to the next. So where should we drive or spend our money? Sustainability first. Jean spoke about it, about the importance. We know about the cost of it. But this is what our source markets, this is what they're looking for. They want to see that things are responsibly done, whether that's related to the use of energy, use of water, but also supporting the local communities, community experience, no greenwashing, genuine experiences. And they come at a cost, but they pay for themselves. Mid-scale momentum, right. So I know from my experience in Uganda that everybody who wants to build a hotel wants to have that trophy, that 5-star property, super luxury. Very beautiful to have, but is it going to make you money? Because the current source market, not so much source market necessarily, but the current people coming to Uganda, yes, there is that high level and that high earning sector, but the majority sits in that mid-scale. And that's where is the opportunity to make money, because that's where you do your volume business. So you've got a choice. You build a trophy, a fancy 5-star hotel, and it sits there and it costs you, or you create something that makes sense and that makes you money. And then the regional movements. I think after COVID we spoke, everybody started with domestic tourism. It made a lot of sense and it worked. It was the only opportunity really. But regional tourism is what drives a lot of business. If we look at Busia border, people coming up and down, it's a lot. And I think that can be leveraged a lot more. The big issue I've got with that, and that's what we need to think about, is costs. So think about this. I live in Kenya. Kenya is my 6th country to live in, by the way. And Uganda might become my 7th, who knows. But I live in Kenya. I've got game parks. I can see the animals. I've got very similar. Why would I come to Uganda as a Kenyan, spend $400 on a return ticket for a 1-hour flight, then spend a lot of money on road traffic, and as Jean already said, drive long hours to see something that I can see back home for free? We complain that people go to Dubai and spend their money there. But the flight is about the same. I can stay in a proper, full-on 5-star hotel for half the money that I pay here. I give my family a totally different experience, something new, something exciting. So if we want the regional tourism to grow, we need to do 2 things. One is why can we not do something similar like we are doing with the parks, where there's different rates for domestic, regional, and international? Now we can bring the cost of tickets down. Now it becomes affordable to do something else. So regional travel is great, but we need to make it more affordable if we would properly want to leverage it, or we must create products that are truly unique that people are willing to pay for. So let's move on to the next slide. So a balanced view, compelling opportunities, the emerging mid-tier, adventure and ecotourism and activities, we spoke about the now, but there's so much more we can do around there. The MICE and domestic corporate retreat facilities. MICE industry is globally, growing tremendously. Look at Rwanda. Why is Rwanda successful? Because of their conferencing facilities. MICE is not just a conference or an exhibition. It's also sporting events. Amos was talking about the Rwenzori Marathon. That's part of MICE business, right? There's a lot more to MICE than people think as well. And then the diaspora-driven investment. Look at Ghana. They've got their homecoming every December, big festivals and everything. Their diaspora pumps in millions and millions of dollars back into the country, and they're investing back home. And now Ugandans also, many have gone overseas. There's ways to drive that money back. So let's go to the next slide. Strategic success framework. So like we said, there is opportunities across the country. It doesn't just have to be in Kampala. It doesn't have to be in Entebbe. Amos said that when he started to build in the parks many years ago, people call him crazy. But this is where the opportunities are nowadays, activities. One of the key source opportunities, I think, for Uganda is the activities. And your people that spend less money, but they stay longer. Young people that come, they don't spend on luxury. They don't spend $200 a day. They might spend only 50 to 100, but they stay for a month. Rather than somebody that spends $300 a day and spends 3 days. So where do you make more money? Who leaves more money in the country? So there's a lot of different places, there's different opportunities, but let's move to the next slide. 5 critical mistakes by the local hotel owners. As I'm a pavement special, and part of me is Dutch, and we are very direct and say things as they are. So please bear with me and understand. Asset over business. What I've seen in this country is that people love to build beautiful, beautiful lodges and spend money on the property. It looks beautiful, but then there's no money to spend on the business, how to operate it. There is no training done for the staff. Staff is not looked after. A happy staff member smiles, which the guest appreciates. Look after your staff, because that will pay for itself. Give them a nice uniform, feed them. But spend on your business. Spend on marketing, spend on consulting, spend on whatever is needed. Don't just build an asset. It's not going to make you money. It's the business that's making you the money. Ignoring expert input. As a consultant, we always go to people. People always want to be helped, but nobody wants to pay. Just like the hotel, we are a business. We're professionals. We work for many years to learn. Consulting or using a professional consultant and paying them to do a good job is paying for itself. When you construct a new business, you might be a wonderful architect and have great ideas, but is the workflow and the layout correct for what you need to do? Does it match the end product? Quite often there's a gap, and 2 or 3 mistakes would have paid for that consultant. And you're paying the price later, I promise you. Hiring the right consultant in the long run is going to save you a lot of money. I know we all think, you know, as businessmen, now you've run a business, next venture is a hotel, we're going to build a hotel. We've run a business, we know how to do a hotel. It's a very different business. Get somebody who knows what to talk about to help you. Whether it's me or somebody else, doesn't matter. Pay somebody who is an expert and listen to them, because you're going to pay the price if you don't. Informal management. We all want to help our family, right? We all want to help our friends. But they might not be the best people for your business. Make sure you get the right managers for your property. Don't take your auntie, your niece, your cousin. If they are trained, by all means. If they're not trained and you want to help them, get them trained and experienced. But make sure that your property, your business, is run by people who know what they're doing. Inadequate working capital is another issue. So now we get money to build a lodge, whether it's through finance, whether it's capital you've earned, saved, whatever it may be. What happens is we go and we go to a construction company and say, okay, how much will it cost me? $1 million. Okay, cool. I've got $1 million I'm going to build. Firstly, there's licenses, there's permits, there's other things. Then you've got your FF&E, your furnishings, fittings, and equipment that then gets forgotten. There is always something that goes wrong. It's one of those things. No matter how good you are, things are going to happen. So now you've planned for $1 million. You spend $1 million. Now you've got a business that's not complete and not open. Then you need to budget for the money that you need for those few months before opening. You need to hire some staff already. You do need marketing. You need systems, procedures, everything in place. You need to pay for that. You need to pay those people for those few months before. Then when you open, you're not going to make money on day one. No business does. So you need to budget for that working capital so you can survive those at least 6 months to a year. Most businesses only break even after 3 years. So a big mistake is not ensuring that once you've built your asset, you can actually run that business up to a point where you make money from it. And then short-term vision. I've seen this so much. We build a beautiful property. We put in the equipment. We operate. And then we just keep running it without reinvesting into it. Now things run down. The bed sheets are torn. The towels are fraying. This is broken, that's broken. The light bulbs are not working anymore. We don't spend money on replacing it. We're milking our business. And the business is going to fail if you do not reinvest in it. You need to make sure that when you make money, you put money aside to keep on improving and fixing your business. Because if you don't do that, you are going to land up with something, and I've seen it so much, that is not workable anymore. And now you're going to lose money. So those are some of the key things that are overlooked. And I can guarantee you, I haven't discussed it with any of them, but I can guarantee you that if you come to these guys and say, listen, this is what we want to do. We've consulted these people that are experts in this industry. This is what they've told us. This is the plan. This is how it's going to work. They are going to believe you and finance you a lot quicker and easier than you just coming to them and say, hey, I've got this idea. Let's do this. Right? So there's so many benefits to doing that. So let's go next. A summary from what I just said is hotels don't fail because they were bad ideas. They fail because they were badly executed. Let's move on. So before we go to that one of the things that a lot of people don't do either, and one of the services we provide is a feasibility study. We can have a brilliant idea. We can think this is what needed, or this is what we're dreaming. The question is it really needed? Is it really what people are willing to pay for? So feasibility studies, planning before you invest, is very important. You think you want to do that 5-star hotel because you think that's where the opportunity is. And listen how many times I say think. You need the data. You need to check. You need to make sure. Unless you want to lose your money, then by all means go for it. So how can hotels work? And in Uganda, I think the first owner-operated models is what is probably 90% of the businesses. Does it work? Yes. Is it got a higher risk because of less international standing, marketing, branding, etc.? Yes. Another option is to go into a management agreement with a big brand. They run it for you. We're talking about the Marriotts, the Hiltons, and places like that. It's got a good benefit. You get more business. You've got less control. Everything has got pros and cons. You've got the franchise model where you operate it yourself, but you get a big name on the door, but you do still day-to-day yourself. And then you can look at a hybrid. And there is pros and cons to all of them. All of them can be perfect for you. All of them can be wrong for you. It really depends on who you are, what you want to do, where you want to go. But these are all different models to look at and consider when you start your business. We spoke about this. I don't want to speak about it too much more. Jean hammered on this. ESG, environmental, social, and governance performance. It's extremely important. It's what people are looking for. So when you make your decisions, when you do your planning, make sure that's included, especially if you're doing something new. And please, let's not do greenwashing. Let's make things real and authentic. Let's move. So the path forward, very simple. Let's seize the moment. Let's do things, right? Let's not just sit down and talk about it. Let's take action. Partner with experts. We are here to help, but if you don't want to believe this African, non-African dude, that's okay. But hire experts to help you. And then these guys will help you with the access to the finance. So as the last sentence, let's turn Uganda's tourism assets into thriving, investable businesses. We're here to help you. You can talk to me afterwards. We can share details. We offer a whole package of different services. We can do everything from that feasibility study, consult on your operating business currently. We can build your business. We can help you access to finance. You name it. Yeah, let's make Uganda the tourism destination that it deserves to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gary. Clemens, we appreciate your passion. Gary flew in from Mombasa yesterday just to make this presentation. I think you can see how passionate. He bought his own ticket. He's going to pay where he's staying just to make sure. Just to make sure he makes this presentation. Thank you very much, Gary, and thank you for the wonderful insights. In case you have anything to do with hotel management and hospitality, he's the main consultant. Partners, at this point, I don't know whether you have any questions for Gary, any clarifications or any comments that you would like him to address before I move on to the next person. I see we're running out of time. Yes? Partners, is there any question? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gary, for that very good presentation. My name is Abdunasa Walekwa from Amira Africa Safaris, a local DMC. I can't ask anything because I've appreciated everything you've asked, but I have follow-up questions for our financials here. I'm a customer of the bank, I think 4 years. But my challenge has always been accessing financing for tourism is okay, and I really appreciate this opportunity. But our financials don't seem to understand our business. And I really thank you for taking this initiative to interact with the tourism players. A few years ago, I signed what they call a net 30 contract with a French travel agency. It's a contract where you supply and they pay you 30 days after the invoice. So, you know, whenever we open our bank accounts here, they give us personal bankers. So someone is going to handle all your banking needs in housing finance. So I call my personal banker. He sits in this building, by the way. So I call him, I tell him, I have this contract I signed. Can we discuss? We see how housing finance can help me. So he tells me, okay, you come over. I come, show him the contract, which is already signed, but it's a 1-year contract, renewable. So I'm looking at issues of liquidity 6 months into the contract. So I'm planning for 6 months after the initial 6 months. So I need money to operate under that contract. So I need contract financing. And he totally either didn't understand or he just didn't give it priority. He said, no, this one, now. You know, I told him, this is a contract where they're paying me, not upfront, after the service I've supplied. But he just didn't understand it, or he didn't take interest. And surprisingly, I ran it by a bank I'm not a customer to, and they immediately clicked, they bought it, said, come over. So we're here discussing all these things. They're very good. But for us to be partners, I think the bank needs to come down to our level. I know Barry talked of, you have to get all these pieces in place if you're to get financing. But there are simple things like appreciating what we do and how we do it as customers. You have the money. We have not just ideas, but we have things that are investable. Like Gary said, we have an opportunity to work together and partner. But the bank looks at us as if we are, these big risks they can't even, unless I have a title which I have to bring as collateral, and I have serious bank balance, and I see, they see my cash flows are really doing well. They say, okay, we can. But then, when do we take a chance on, for example, startups, operators who are just starting up, people who want to just acquire one tour vehicle to start everything, to start all the operations moving? How do you help them? So are these only for the big players like Amos, or do tour operators who are just starting up have a chance? If they're banking with housing finance, what is in it for them? Or is it just we are keeping money with you guys and then there's no opportunity anywhere? We just come in, withdraw, deposit, and go out. How do you help us in our businesses grow? Now, to reach where Gary is talking about, that level where I have to hire him, Gary costs money. It's not cheap. He flew up to here. It costs money. If I'm to retain him, I'm sure not less than $5,000. But how am I going to get that money if I'm not, working well with housing finance? So those are just ideas I had, and maybe, I don't know if management, the top managers are here, maybe they can make a comment to it. But I hope as a customer, you appreciate where we're coming from. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And that feedback is really well known. There's another question.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sarah, Sales and Marketing at Min Pasha Hotel, and I have a few questions or maybe suggestions to Mr. Gary. Now, I have been in the hospitality industry for the last coming to 4 years, and professionally settling in the marketing department and sales for at least 2.5. And to Mr. Gary, this is a question for me. My own realization is that, one, in different hotels I've been in, marketing is not yet a full department in the hotel industry. And that's because my belief is that the management, the decision makers in the hotel industry have not quite digested or understood the fact that marketing and sales are two different things. So how, as a young marketer who is very passionate in the hospitality industry for that matter, do I convince the decision maker, the finance department, the CEOs, the board members that, listen, for me to be able to bring in revenue for the next 10 years without me having necessarily spending transportation on cold sales and what have you, I need to first invest in marketing. You talked about, as a hotel, if I cannot go through your website, and in just 2 minutes I have booked the hotel, because which is one of the challenges that I've seen a lot in hotels in Uganda, is because as an industry, I feel like we're yet to accept the fact that the world is now moving digital. as an industry. So how do I convince the board members that, listen, as we are making the budget of the year, as we are pushing the sales people to do the sales, the marketing is lacking. We're talking about visibility, we're talking about market positioning and all that. So how do we get to convince the decision makers that marketing is the biggest spender that should be in your hotel if you want to look at in the next 5 years, and let's say in Shuti Safaris, we just say, okay, you know what, there's visibility, there is actual review on this hotel. Because I feel like as an industry, we're still into the old way of sales, which get your sales team, let them go out, knock on doors, get business cards and emails. But then again, as a young marketer, I am saying, in the next 10 years from now, I should be able to sit on my laptop and secure bookings from all over the world. So how do we get to communicate to the decision makers that the future of marketing is actually you putting money in marketing? Because I think that's where the challenge is. Thank you.
So you just tell them Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is one of the biggest brands in the world. Everybody knows it. So why do they still do marketing? Because the moment they stop, as big and as well known as they are, the sales drop. But on a smaller, more direct, I don't know if it's a battery or what's going on, but just make sure that you find some study cases. There's so much information available on the internet. Find some success stories about marketing, what it has done for properties in the industry. You just go online, find, and you ask ChatGPT or whatever you use, find me 5 success stories of marketing in international hotel business. And you'll find quite a couple. And you say, look here, this is what it does if you do proper marketing. One of the big things I've seen, and you're 100% correct, the moment there's a downturn in business and cash flow gets tight, what is the first thing that gets cut? Sales and marketing. The exact 2 departments that will bring you the business. So it doesn't make any sense. But I've been on the operational side, and when you have to make a decision, am I going to pay my supplier or my staff? Or am I going to spend money on marketing? It becomes a very difficult decision. So I do understand that side of it. At the same time, it doesn't make any sense for that to be the first place to cut. I think, on a different topic, one of the main things we need to achieve in this industry, and they've done it in Europe quite successfully, but in Africa we haven't managed to get it right, is we need to stop looking at hospitality and tourism as a job, because it's a career. And once we can make that mind shift, that hospitality and tourism is actually a career path, then people will look at it differently as well, and we'll be able to attract more quality people and talent in the industry. I started in this industry. My very first job, I was scrubbing the floors in the kitchen. Then I got promoted to doing dishes. And from there on, I've worked my way up to where I'm today. So when we can make sure that this industry is seen as a career and not just a job to pay the bills, we'll do a lot better.
Thank you very much. We'll take, maybe let me first allow our senior management team here to respond to Mr. Nasser's comment, and I'll ask Mr. JB to respond to you. Thank you so much, Joel. Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be brief. Please remind me of your name, sir. Nasser. Thank you so much for your comment. It's a very valid comment. I would like to throw more light on this. As Housing Finance Bank, we take delight in the customer's voice. Okay, so when customers speak, we listen. And as you've noticed, we've been taking notes. We are very agile, and that's why we are creating such a platform for us to co-create, to learn. Because even if you come up with products today, 5 years from now, they may not necessarily be relevant. So we have different products that address your needs today. It's unfortunate that you had that experience, but we do consider contract financing. It's purely based on the contract you have. How strong is your off-taker, the company giving you that contract? Is it a company we can count on? Is it known? Is it unknown? That's part of the conversation. And if the risk is high, we advise you accordingly. If the risk is medium, again, we advise you accordingly. We can advise you how far we are willing to go regarding your financing need, but we have those solutions, whether it's LPO financing, contract financing, asset financing. We have so many products. Some of the previous speakers were talking about green products. We consider all those. We already have products that speak to renewable energy, water and sanitation, among others. But is that enough? No. When you speak, we listen. So would love to co-create with you, our dear customers. We need products that align with your needs, not what we've thought about from our building here. So if there are changes, there are improvements, we are more than willing to work with you so that we can serve you. It's a very big sector, and would like to come out as the largest indigenous bank that is addressing your needs. Thank you. Thank you very much, JB. We have some more questions, but I will take one, then I will kindly request that we hold the questions up to the end of the next presentation in the interest of time. Then we shall address the other questions as we allow maybe the other customers who have other engagements to leave.
Thank you, presenter. Thank you, Housing Finance, for organizing this. I personally have just learned today that Housing Finance is a local bank. Really, you've been up there, not like the other local bank across around, is it Jinja Road or Kampala Road? Eyambo Muntu wa wansi, but today I've learned. For the last 37 years I've been in this world. I've just learned it today. However, from a wonderful presentation, and there is a reason why I took a photo of something where the mistakes of the hotel owners make. Marketing is still a challenge, but it is also a challenge with the country itself. The government itself. And then also, people need to love their businesses. The way we love our families. I usually say, I'm into also space of children and families, but women usually love their families so much, but men easily give up on their families. Do we love our businesses as us? Do we just milk, or we even don't want to invest? Because you can't sell something you haven't experienced yourself. We have two operators here that haven't even been in any game park, but they want to get tourists from across the border to come and visit game parks. Have you yourself slept in that cool bed? Have you spent a night in that nice bed? So we need also to find ways of investing, go, experience, and then come back and sell the experience. It is so hard to sell something that you haven't experienced yourself. And because these exposed tourists from out there, they ask so many questions. Sometimes they are asking you, are also calling somebody to inquire. It is really a sad one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 1 minute.
My name is Bruce Kanawahita. I'm the director of Life Beach Hotel, Lusabara. I'm a client of Housing Finance. Thank you so much, Barry, for your presentation. It was very good, and it really touched me because most of the points you're talking about is what we face. But the bottom line is that we all need financing. And housing finance as a bank does not come in as an investment bank, especially with us tourists. They want to take us like we are business people who are making money there and then, which is not the case. Sometimes they don't take time to understand our business, so you find that the interest rates are high. So my question is, do you have any plans of giving us interest rates which are favorable to work with? Because an interest rate of 24%, it's very hard for someone to recoup the money and pay you back in time. That's where the problem comes in. So if you have any packages which can give us good rates, then we can be able to work properly, because everything we're talking about here is about capital. There are no two ways about it. So if the rates keep high, then we can't operate well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. And your feedback has been well noted, and we'll address it in the next presentation. Allow me invite, we've talked about sustainability, we've talked about ESG and green financing. Allow me call the expert to talk to you about sustainability in around 5 minutes and what you can do in your business to embrace this. Thank you, Dorothy.
The experts are in the room. It's still morning, a very good morning to all our guests, our customers, and our potential customers, and the staff around. For us, it's very exciting to talk about tourism, especially myself, because tourism holds 99% of our sustainability agenda as the bank. So tourism, we all know, has been a very, very successful story for our country. Tourism brings the world to our doors. Tourism showcases what we call the Pearl of Africa. When we talk about the Pearl of Africa, the people seated in this room tell that story better. You showcase our parks, you showcase our beautiful culture, you showcase our you showcase our wildlife. So you're a very, very critical sector in our economy. Like Angela mentioned, the government has prioritized tourism. And you're not only showcasing the Pearl of Africa, and why am I laboring to do all this? To show you how important you are. You're changing livelihoods. You're giving people jobs. From that tour operator to somebody, that local guide in Bwindi, that person who supplies your food. So I want this morning for us to appreciate how important we are. So, and I hope that by the time we leave, we'll know. Like Joel mentioned, my name is Dorothy Namtevi. I lead sustainability in the bank. I struggle to break down that word, but let me try. When we talk about sustainability, other people will call it ESG, other people will call it anything, but here let's call it sustainability. Because what we are doing here is we want to see that our businesses live the time. We want to see that our businesses meet the generations and generations and generations. So that's what sustainability is all about. What are we doing today, and how are we doing it, and how are we operating today, so that tomorrow, even the children we are struggling for, even the vision you're struggling to see can live and taste time. So that is all we are saying in sustainability. And Mr. Gary and Jean did the greater part of my job. The greater part of my job was to tell you that sustainability is now the new price of competition in tourism.
tourism, when we talk of sustainability, I want us to appreciate also that tourism depends. It depends on the very things that climate change and environmental degradation threaten most. So if we do not collectively come to the table, we have no business. I had a challenge on infrastructure. If we do not collectively come to fight the issues of climate change, we are still going to have a challenge of infrastructure. You've seen the floods, eh? So maybe somebody out there was booking a ticket to come to Uganda, and they canceled. There's some chaos down there. Why? Climate change. So these issues actually affect the bottom driver of the tourism, our nature, our biodiversity. We heard of somebody who says that they are paying $20,000 to come and see birds. Now, if we cut down our biodiversity, we cut down the trees, where are the birds going to be? So, and then we heard about Mr. Gary saying that sustainability first. He's a consultant with Jean. They travel the whole world to market Uganda. And what are they, feedback they are getting is sustainability first. Today, when you look at the Global Travel Survey, you can read it, 2024. It says 83% of travelers are saying they want sustainability first. 83%. 75% have mentioned that they intend to travel more to countries that are more sustainable in the next 12 months. So where does that leave us? In the tourism sector. So when he mentioned sustainability first, he had some statistics. And we heard of mentions like sustainability is expensive. We are going to, as Housing Finance, we are crafting this journey with you. We are crafting solutions to make sustainability, to operationalize sustainability in your businesses cheaper. And I will dive straight into my presentation, the tourism value chain. This has already been mentioned, but I want to bring it home. We have people seated here. Some of you are in transport, some of you are in accommodation, could be foods and beverages. So tourism is a very, very big driver of our GDP. You touch SMEs. There's somebody out there who's doing poultry to supply your hotels, because I've not been to a hotel where there's no egg for breakfast. So you see how important you are? There's somebody there whose business you're holding in SME. There's somebody there who's baking cake, bread. I've not seen breakfast where we don't have bread. So when we talk about the ecosystem, see how important you are. The transport sector, the agriculture sector, and that is how the ecosystem looks like. Planning and policy, government agencies. Today, the government, I've already mentioned, is working around putting money in tourism. But the biggest challenge government is having right now is money. And guess where the money is? The money is in climate finance. And tourism is very, very critical for the government to bring in that money. This week there's COP happening. Our government people have gone to lobby that money. But they are struggling to showcase what they are doing around sustainability. They are struggling to showcase how is the Uganda participating in reduction of these emissions, policies around, and tourism is very critical. Tourism is very critical. The biodiversity, climate, and all that. So when we talk of the transport operators, what are we saying? Support us and uptake, switch to electric vehicles. that way you're going to support us in issues of climate change. We are talking about the foods and beverages today, people who are supplying. Look at local supply. We have our local producers here. When you support them, the ecosystem moves. Look at waste management, the hotel operators. A lot of food is being wasted. How are you managing that waste? You can recycle that waste and supply our agriculture sector. So those are the small things that even we as banks are looking for. We are looking for cheap money. We have the cheap money, but we are asking, what are you doing in the areas of climate change? So if you come to us and say that, this is what I do. When I collect my food waste, I recycle it, I supply it to the agriculturalist near me. For us, that is good. So you qualify for our cheap money. I'm a tour operator. I have procured 3 vehicles, electrical vehicles. Kira here is buses. That is good for us to hear. And you will access our cheap money. We talked of the artisans. When we go to the national parks, and we see our women, our youth, showcasing our small crafts. For us, that is your social impact. You have given jobs to these people. You're showcasing our culture. So when you come to us for financing, for that cheap money that we have, because today the money is in climate finance, the investors abroad, by the way, the biggest emitters of gas are out there. And the only way they can show offset is they have to invest in countries like us to integrate sustainability in our operations. So participating, climate action participation, we talked of the green financing, partner with banks. Maybe, can we go back to, climate action. So what are the things we are asking you to do? Because we have the money. Housing finance has the money, housing finance has the solutions, but we are asking for your collaboration. And what are we asking you to do? Just energy transition. Today, if you're running a lodge, you're running a hotel, you're running a tour company, just install solar systems in your lodge. You talked of it being expensive. If you walk to housing finance today and you said, I want to operationalize, I want to run a sustainable business, and I want to change all these fossil lightings to LED lights, to solar lights, we have what we call the Renewable Energy Fund, and this is cheap money. We shall finance that for you. Then get into waste management. We talked about it, waste management. We have that money. Today, if you come and say that, I want to install some equipment to do waste recycling, produce manure for my agriculture farm. There's an equipment I saw. We have that fund. And that's all we are asking for you. Water efficiency. Put up low flow taps. I was telling somebody that before I understood sustainability, I used to see these things when I traveled. I now understand them better. I'm sure all of you are traveled here. When you go abroad, they don't have those taps like ours, where you open and the water flows. They are sensor taps. So we're asking you, install that and do rain harvesting. You're running a lodge in Bwindi. We have a whole month of heavy rains and you don't have any water harvesting. You're running the umeme meter. That's a cost. So that is what we are asking you to do. And we are here to support you. We have that money, that cheap money. We have partners who have onboarded to support you and ourselves to operationalize sustainability in your businesses. We've talked about local sourcing. carbon offsetting. As we transition into this journey, it's a journey. But we can say, okay, if I have not yet fully operationalized sustainability in my business, I can make a contribution. Tree planting and reforestation along your tourism corridors. When we come to your hotels, let's find some greenery, let's find some trees in your areas of business. You come to a hotel and all you can't even spot any greenery. It's all tiles because we are, like he mentioned, we are putting a lot of money in luxury in the asset and forgetting the business. So that's what we are asking for. And then also he talked about digitalization. I think that is self-explanatory. And Joel, you can move, continue. You can skip that, we've talked about it. So what are the opportunities? The question would be, I'm doing all this, but for what? There are opportunities. We talked about the access to finance. We are crying of money. The money has been given to us, but we are struggling to find off-takers. Somebody talked over it here that they will go and borrow 25% to do business. But I have here money at about 17%, and I'm struggling to give it away, because all I'm asking for is, what are we doing around the sustainability actions that we've mentioned? And some of us are doing these things, but probably we don't know how to report them. Some of you are actually employing youth. Some of you are running businesses where you're employing women, the creatives. Some of you are doing businesses where you're showcasing our culture. But it's because you cannot articulate those issues. And like he mentioned, you don't want to pay for a consultant. Gary is here. Pay him some $5,000 to articulate the issues to us for you to access $100,000. Then with market differentiation, we've already talked about that. Your customers are now seeking to travel to eco-friendly countries. Cost efficiency. Cost efficiency. Today you may be spending a lot of money to transition to sustainable operations. You're putting up a water harvester. You're changing your solar lights. In the kitchen, biogas. Some of you are still even preparing food using the normal yakai. But we have providers who are setting up very beautiful biogas systems for your cooking in the kitchen. And we have funding for that. So cost efficiency. Today you may see your spending, but calculate 12 months down the road. You will have cut some of these costs. And then climate resilience, that one we talked about, the carbon credits. The carbon credits, if you don't want to come to borrow to the bank, there are investors who have the money and want to invest in you. So that's what we call the carbon credits. You want to put up an eco lodge. If you can demonstrate all these practices, there are people who have the money who come and invest in you. We talked about the social issues. We can go down. So how is Housing Finance Bank catalyzing this change? You know we cannot tackle climate change when we, the financiers, are busy in putting money into the engines damaging our environment. So as Housing Finance Bank, we have products like I've mentioned. We have tourism finance. So we have all the money to finance you in your sector. If you want to buy cars, we have the money. And it's even more cheaper when you go into electric vehicles. If you want to change your whole lighting system, we have the money. Even cheaper if you go renewable energy. So we have the money. Technical assistance. We are onboarding a number of partners, and these clinics are going to come We sent out an advert. I hope we all registered. We have what we call the Uganda Green Enterprise Finance Accelerator. This is a partner who's going to help you, myself, and the bank to operationalize or to incorporate all these things that seem like jargon, like they seem far from you. We have technical assistance. So please register. We've extended the registration up to end of November. And come, get free learnings. They'll work with you. They'll be practical with you. They'll put you into catalyzer programs for 3 months. They'll come to your places of work and show you, this is what we need to do. This is how you need to write to the banks. This is what. So the technical assistance is there. Then blended finance. We mentioned we have money, and blended finance means that today if you come to borrow money from Housing Finance Bank, and you have operationalized all the issues to do with sustainability, contributing to the climate change that we want to see for our country. We have a partner who's saying they will cater for 33% of your loan. If you've borrowed 100 million, they are willing to pay for you 33 million. So we are talking of funding and lack of money, but the money is there. They will pay 33% of your money. And we have a number of them we have onboarded. And then now climate screening. This is where I want to also emphasize that as the bank, we are also tasked to walk the talk. We are not going to tell our customers to do sustainability, while for us we are doing otherwise. So there are things that we are going to be doing. When you come to borrow money from Housing Finance, I'm sure you've heard of our RMs asking for, do you have an ESG policy? What are you doing around sustainability for you to access funding? So we go through what we call the screening of all our applications. Because the people who give us the money have requested that we channel finance responsibly. A good example, somebody who funded the chaos down there, that wasn't responsible financing. There are questions they should have asked before we had the impacts that we saw. And as Housing Finance, we will be asking those questions, and it's important for you to understand them. They are not difficult. And just to give you that framework in the tourism sector, today if you walked in, there are a few questions we will ask. Are you doing solar? Are you doing water devices? Do you manage waste? Some of the things you're doing. Do you hire and train the local youth? How do you preserve our culture? Governance? Are you incorporating sustainability standards in your operations? Do you have policies? Do you have guidelines? So those are some of the questions that we shall be asking. And they are not difficult. And you people are actually doing these things. Personally, I have done local tourism, and I have seen you people do these things. You find an eco lodge. There's no one eco lodge who will come to borrow from Housing Finance and take expensive money. You have been to this hotel Latitude. Have you looked at what Latitude uses? Latitude uses local materials, recycling of wood, but very cheap. They go to the local markets, never go to. So while you're going to Dubai to spend on that luxury $100,000, they're spending 3,000 shillings and painting and putting beautiful artisans. And that is what the customers in the tourism sector are asking for. So in a nutshell, sustainability is an opportunity. Look at it as an opportunity. And I want to call upon you to work with us and to partner with us to support you in the transition. Thank you, and hand over to Joel.
Thank you very much, Dorothy, for the insight on the ESG aspects and sustainability. We are going to close in the next 10 minutes. We have one more presentation that will be short, and then I will invite the head of mortgage, JB, to close this session. Then we have a group photo, and then we can have any interactions and questions thereafter. So bear with me. In the next 10 minutes, we shall be done. I'll give my partner here from Sasula 1 minute to present about his solution. Then I'll take you through the last presentation on what we can do for you as Housing Finance Bank. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Can I stand there? Yes, thanks, Joel. Good morning. Yes, my name is Sadat, and I'm from Sasula Service Corps. I know most of you have had something to do with school pay. So I'm here to share with you an idea which is being implemented at Housing Finance Bank that is more like school pay. So we are aware that in the tourism sector, there are many activities that take place. We are looking at, let's say someone is in Kenya and are interested in coming to Uganda. They would like to book a hotel where they'll sleep. And if they come to Uganda, when they're booked a hotel, they would like to book for the sites they would like to visit. I would like to go and look at the gorillas. I would like to go to Maxton Falls. And then there's a cost tied to such activities. So what we are looking at digitizing that process. I'm in Kenya. I can make a booking to a room or to a certain hotel. And if I make a booking, there should be the possibility of me paying for my room before I reach. So someone can make the payment of their room, and once they do that payment, money comes and settles at your bank account at Housing Finance Bank. And then after them doing that, when they reach to Uganda, they like to go to Maxton Falls, they like to go to ABCD. Still, if the operators of those banks, they do have accounts with the Housing Finance Bank, someone can process that payment to those sites, and then they go and then they enjoy to see the sites. So we are looking at, if I'm a hotel operator and I do have an account with the Housing Finance Bank, how can I ease my operations? How can I ease banking for my customers? How can I make it easy that someone can pay to me for a certain service and money comes to my bank account? And that's what we are looking at. How can you manage your rooms? I'm having a hotel. I have 60 rooms. How can I manage my rooms? Which rooms have been booked? Which rooms have been paid for? What is my revenue today? What am I, how am I standing? Most of you, the owners of these hotels, maybe you do not be at the hotels all day, maybe every day, maybe you're having many hotels. Is there a possibility of you managing your operations of your hotel in one place? Like we are seated here in this room. Are you in position to know how many rooms have been booked, how many rooms have been paid for? We have seen scenarios, this is from a personal experience, whereby the people who are left at the hotels, that these services, let's say they short and then they stay. For those who do hotels, someone comes in, is going to be the hotel for only 2 to 3 hours. They do something and then they make a payment. The person who has been left there, that revenue is mostly not reported to the owners. So they normally recognize the stay. Someone has slept, etc. So we are looking at enabling you mobilize your revenues as the way it should be, enabling you monitor your operations in one place, and making it easier for your customers to access your services through booking and then through making payments, and those funds settle at your bank account in real time. And these services are coming to you at no cost. The bank is offering you these services at no cost, which means if you're operating through a book whereby you register your visitors, or you're using an Excel somewhere, we are looking at digitizing that process for you by giving you a system to help you manage your operations. Hotels, tourism sites, travel, etc. And then we give you a system that will help you manage all your operations at no cost. After some time, 1 month, 2 months, you'll be able to see the productivity that will be brought by this system. So we, in case you're interested, as long as you have an account with the Housing Finance Bank, you can reach out to Joel, you can reach out to us and my colleagues, and then we see how we can set you up at no cost. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have a desk there. You can register if you need any of these services, and we shall be able to get back to you. I promise we shall finish by midday. Allow me take you through what we can do for you as Housing Finance Bank, because I think that's why we are here. But before I take you through what we can do for you, maybe why would you deal with Housing Finance Bank or bank with Housing Finance Bank? Excuse me. Yes, thank you. We have already talked about Housing Finance being 100% local commercial bank. That means everything that we do, all the decisions are made locally, and we understand your business well because we are a local bank. So that's why you should deal with us, because we understand the landscape very well. We have experience of over 50 years, especially in mortgage financing. It means we are well prepared to structure for you and for your business. We have tailored solutions, and this is what most of the people are saying, that we don't understand how we do your business. The reason we call you here is to understand how you want your business to be done. For us, we have nothing cast in stone, but we are willing to do things that fit within your business, not the traditional banking that you know. We offer competitive rates. I think this is a subject of debate, but we know we can understand and do what fits within as a win-win position. We offer loan repayment periods of up to 20 years. This is very not common in the industry. It's only Housing Finance Bank that can give you this a long period. Obviously, flexible collateral arrangement for SMEs and a dedicated relationship manager or business manager to help you understand or manage the relationship between you and the bank. Maybe what are some of the solutions that we offer? I'll begin with deposits, where we have transaction accounts. This, you have to open an account with us. Each account has different features. So we have a desk there. We are going to take those that don't have account. We are going to contact you and see how you can open an account with us. When you have excess money, we can also invest the money for you in terms of term deposits, call deposits. So these are transactional solutions. They have already talked about digital solutions. We have our HFB internet banking, which is one of the best market. And this is something you have to embrace. If you have an account with us, you should be able to transact at your convenience, at your home, out, or when you're on the move, you should be able to transact. But if you can't, especially where we don't have presence, we have very many agents that you can still transact with at Housing Finance Bank. We've already talked about this MasterCard. If you're traveling, if you're making payments, this is a solution that will help you. We also have other complementary solutions like bank assurance, where we do insurance on behalf of the insurance companies. We have treasury services, money transfers, payment of utilities, money remittances. All this can be done at Housing Finance Bank. So it's important that before you leave, if you don't have an account with us, you open an account. Maybe some of the other products, especially the lending products, we have commercial mortgages. And this is key for people, especially in the tourism, especially when you're doing capital expenditure. Most of the times you can't use your working capital to do capital expenditures, specifically if you're doing construction, maybe expansion. This will eat into your working capital. So in commercial mortgages, we give you a long tenure so that it allows you a flexible repayment to first recover from the investment, then you can make the payments. For vehicle and asset financing, we've already mentioned, but we have a team from the vehicle and asset team, Mr. Moses there. He can support you, and there are very many features for our vehicle and asset financing. Trade finance solutions for any guarantees, LCs, mention it. Housing finance is here to support you, and good enough, most of you have already talked about some of these products. You have business loans, overdrafts, and these agricultural loans. Partners, we've talked about tourism, but when these people come here, they want to eat, and we need to provide food. So we have very many agricultural solutions, including facilities that are zero interest. That means what you get is what you pay, especially those doing in commercial farming. So we have a desk here. When you're done, please pass by and get more information about most of these facilities. But we have also registered your numbers. We'll be calling you and giving you more details on what we can offer to you. But more to that, we have dedicated relationship managers across all our branches that are willing to listen to you, to support you, advise, and also structure your solutions in a way that will suit your business. Thank you very much. I don't want to take more of your time. I will now invite the acting ED and the head of mortgage, Mr. John Baptist Kawesi, to come and give his closing remarks. Then after that, we shall take a photo shoot, and then we shall interact at leisure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joel. Good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Good morning to you all once again. Oh, already. Good afternoon. Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for sparing this wonderful time with us. We don't take it for granted. You're busy people. Some of you have traveled from very far, like Gary. So we don't take it for granted. I'd like to thank you so much for honoring our invite. A lot has been said this morning. I don't want to repeat, but I'm cognizant of the key areas we've spent a bit of time on, from the previous presenters to the Q&A. We've spent some bit of time unpacking the tourism opportunities. And we know one of the challenges the sector has been struggling with is access to valuable information, like the things we are discussing today. The bad practices. So a lot of information has been shared around the tourism opportunities. We've talked about challenges, and on a good note, we have a consultant here, Gary. He has spoken about the challenges and what we can do about those challenges. We've had an opportunity of looking at the global perspectives. We are not only looking at Uganda because we don't work in a vacuum. Can you hear me? Yeah, we don't only focus on the local context, but we've looked at the global perspectives. We've been challenged by UAE's growth, and Gary spoke about what we can do in terms of designing unique products for Uganda to attract more customers. We've talked about the payment solutions, and one of the partners is Sasula. Please look into what we are proposing. We've talked about sustainability, a very powerful presentation about sustainability. I believe we are in a much better position now from the time we came. We've been able to unpack sustainability, what is it that we are talking about, and how does it grow your business. We've talked about the financing options in the tourism sector. We've emphasized capacity building in the tourism sector. We've emphasized sensitization. And as Housing Finance Bank, we are committed to having many more similar events that bring us together, because the opportunities are for all of us. We also know that the government is very intentional to invest in tourism. Among the other areas, the government is investing heavily in ATMs, commercializing agriculture, tourism, mining, including oil and gas, as well as science and technology. For tourism, it's a very big opportunity for us as a country. The government is investing about 2.6 trillion. So when we are throwing these numbers around, we should be asking ourselves the question, what role am I playing? How do I tap into these opportunities? Are we waiting for other players from the region, from across, to come and seize the opportunities? Let's work together and grow our economy. The 7% contribution to the GDP currently is still small. Tourism is one niche that can actually take us to the next level, and that's why the government is investing heavily in this sector. So as Housing Finance Bank, as I conclude, we are fully committed to building a truly inclusive tourism ecosystem. Would like to bring as many players as possible within the financial sector so that we can serve you all. It makes a big difference. So we are not only looking at the big players. Anyone in the value chain would like to work with you. And as per our purpose, we are financing a sustainable future for all. So tourism is going to bring in more jobs. Tourism is going to touch more lives, and we are eager to work with you and those that are not in the room today to make that impact for our country. Thank you very much for listening to me. May God bless you. Let's continue interacting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We may now have a group photo here. Maybe the cameraman will guide us outside. Okay, we'll go outside and then have the group photo. He's going to guide us. Then we are free to leave. We would like also to thank our partners online. We had an audience of around 100 people. Thank you for being with us. I think you don't have an opportunity to take a photo with us, but thank you very much for attending. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming, and we wish you a nice lunch wherever you will have it from. Thank you.